Now You See Me, Now You Don't, 2025. This is described as a heist film. I looked that up just to check, and it's a crime subgenre. It's a caper story, and the audience in capers see a crime or a series of crimes being planned and executed. The crimes often are a swindle or a theft, something like that recent Louvre theft. I guess that would be a crime caper if it was made into a film. Um, the these sort of films, sometimes actually also kidnappings. That's the other thing that's mentioned when I read about um, these heist type films, caper films. They involve con people, um, and of course, con people often called con men, and in this case, they're described as the horsemen, even though several of them, well, all the way through, there's been at least one who's a horsewoman, but horsemen covers the lot. I suppose that's the thing about the language we have. It's very patriarchal. Um, in fact, later in this film, they talk about this. The horsewomen, the ladies of the horse, the ponies, as they describe it, ponies being a small horse. They, I don't know, they form their own. Maybe they'll have a spin-off series. That'd be quite fun. But one thing is about it is the first 2 films, it's always been a tokenistic, um, one woman often, it's like Isla Fisher in the first film and 3 horsemen, and they're all horsemen, but, I mean, it's language, isn't it? It's strange. It's just the way things are, but I I don't know why, um, it is like that. I mean, the word, I remember a book. I'm just gonna go on a real small digression and talk about a book I remember from the '70s called The Ascent of Man, and of course, man is often used as a short version of humanity. It's often used as a description. So it is part of how English is, and yet it just means that you have to follow the context to understand. But often I don't know, it winds me up a little bit, but um, because there's these assumptions that if you talk about a doctor, people often first thing they will assume the doctor's a man. And remember the Barbie films from 2023, the Barbie film, and Ken being really so at home when he finds out that it's the men who do well in life in the real world. I love that Barbie film. So, but back to this, I will end up just going down a total um, detour if I don't watch it. But um, let's say about the first 2 films, there was Now You See Me 2013, and then there was the sequel in 2016. And we've been introduced to quite a lot of characters, but apart from the main 4, there's Jesse Eisenberg. He's like Danny Atlas. Um, he's like really arrogant. I mean, considering he was the best. actor to play Mark Zuckerberg in The Social Network, and, I've seen him so many films since, but he really sort of has that way of dismissing everyone, and always, when he appears in this film, because I won't explain the first bit, but there's about 10 minutes, 10 minutes that the friend I was watching this film with missed because she arrived late. Um, but there's this, thing where we are introduced to 3 new characters, and then, uh, Atlas appears, and he's very dismissive of their efforts. So he says that with a bit of tweaking, maybe they will become fine con people, and be able to take on the, mantle and be horsemen again. Um, Now there's the other original characters. There's, Merritt McKinney, Woody Harrelson plays him. He's very much into mentalism and hypnosis. And there's Jack Wilder, who's played by Dave Franco. Sleight of hand, that sort of thing, cards. And then there's Henley Reeves, played by Isla Fisher. And I really like her because, I mean, well, she was the sole female member of the first four. Um, so I guess call me biased, but I've always rooted for her. Um, but then there's Ch- Charlie Vanderberg, who's played by Justice Smith. There's Bosco Leroy, who we introduced in the first performance right at the start, played by Dominic Sessa. And then there's June McClure, played by Ariana Greenblatt. There's another character who comes along at one point, Lula. I think she was in the second. I don't know. I've forgotten so much about the original films, but there's Lula played by Lizzie Kaplan. Um, yeah, second film she replaced Henley, so she was the token woman in the second film. But now we've got 3 new characters, so we've got a whole pile of people, but we've got about, 8 in the main area of the plot, and then there's more than 8, there's 9, 10, I mean, there's, who was there? There was Morgan Freeman, Thaddeus Bradley, there was Mark Ruffalo, who's Dylan Rose. So there are other characters, and they all make an appearance, but they might be a bit more of a cameo in some respects. And again, I don't really want to spoil it, so I'm not gonna say what exactly happens. But one of the other people who does have a starring role in this is Rosamund Pike, who plays Veronica Vanderburg. And she's like, um, a matriarch in a diamond company. And I guess, she's a strong woman in this film. I love, um, Rosamund Pike. She's done so much great work over the years. So really loved, Gone Girl, and really want to review that sometime soon. Really want to see that again. Um, but, what it is that, Atlas asks the 3 newbies if they can prove themselves and join to help with this new heist, which means, um, it's a sort of thwarting, um, what's her name? Vanessa? No, Veronica. I mean, that comes up in the film. I mean, remembering what her name is, but Veronica Vanderburg. I mean, there's a lot of the plot in South Africa, some of it or Southern Africa, some of it in Belgium, in Antwerp, um, but it's all about a diamond heist, but there's so many, um, camera tricks, and that is one of the things that is slightly problematic because whatever happens on screen, a lot of it's gonna be editing, so it's not going to be as impressive as if you were seeing a live magic show and, um, things are I mean, everything can be edited in a film, so, um, you know, it can feel a bit meh, and it did for me a bit because I was trying to wrap my mind and think back to the earlier films, and then I was just like a bit overwhelmed because there's all this new stuff happening. A lot of it, I mean, the spectacle, I think they have to drive the film forward by having lots of spectacle, and some of it, um, it just causes because it is special effects, it's a bit like when I see a lot of CGI. I mean, it might be impressive, but my eyes will just glaze over after a while. I think, I've seen a lot of that now. Um It's it might be impressive, it might have taken so much work to do. I know I don't really want to, put down the people working for it. I mean, it'd be, an amazing job. It might be really tedious, data wrangling with, you know, a few seconds of nearly 2 hours worth of film, but, um illusions aren't quite the same on film, I think. I mean, there are things that can be impressive, and they try and make them impressive. But I think the thing that I liked the most was when Henley's white dress just appeared. It was out of something that oh, who was it? It was one of it was I think it was June. Um, causes something to, maybe some paper to just, fly into lots of little pieces, and then it turns into a dress, and that's shown in the trailer a little bit, um, that Henley's wearing. Um, I thought it was quite impressive. It's quite nice. I think fashion related. If only dresses could be made that easily, um, you know, just be magicked into being created. I'd love that if that would happen in real life. But of course, um, camera tricks, camera edits. Um, yeah, I find it. I mean, that uh, the number of camera tricks plus the arrogance shown by the characters until near the end, then they sort of mellow a bit. And I like that better when once they actually appreciate each other. I mean, there's so much harshness in the world right now. Um, I know that happens a lot in films and especially crime films. People are so harsh with each other. But I tend to like to see people who are compassionate towards each other. That's perhaps why I like dramas that involve compassion and love and things like that. Um, so some of the time I felt meh, and then some of the time there's some humour. I liked it, liked seeing some nods at the past. Kind of reminded me some things from the earlier film. But because I'd forgotten so much, that became a distraction. I was thinking I'm not gonna watch both of those films over again just to keep on board with this, second sequel, and there's possibility of more. I mean, this is Now You See Me 3 as such. Now You See Me, Now You Don't. I mean, that, um they hadn't used that in the, first 2 films. But to think It's 9 years ago and 12 years ago. That is a long time. I've seen so many films since, it's not surprising. I can't think much about it. I think it kept me entertained enough. Um, there's a line, "If you want to stop the devil, lift her wallet," and, um, I think that just about sums it up. I'm gonna score this 7.5 out of 10. Um, it's sort of right on in the middle of, where 5 out of 10 is where film starts to not be on the cusp of not being worthwhile. And this is worthwhile, but it's right in the middle between so-so films and the best. Um, I'd like to know what you think. If you've seen this film, please leave a comment. Please leave your thoughts. If you like this film, please hit the like. Thanks if you subscribe. Please hit the notification button. And I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.